Game weekend series, the Missouri Tigers teetering on the brink right at 500 after last night's loss in the opener against the steady Razorbacks of 6th-ranked Arkansas. A shutout for Arkansas behind Peyton Burnham in the circle last night in Game 1, the second straight SEC game in which Mizzou has been shut out. The Tigers went without an extra base hit and stranded 7 runners on base. Alongside Monica Abbott, I'm Nate Gatter. This is more the same from Arkansas. For Mizzou, very big trouble now, trying to stay at or above that 500 mark to be eligible for a regional. The Razorbacks, though, have their eyes on bigger things, not only hosting, but getting that top 8 seed that would secure a host position all the way through Supers.
Yeah, the Arkansas, they are in prime position to host in Super Regionals right now. This isn't as big of a series for them as it is for Missouri because of that 500 and postseason being on the line for them. Every win matters, and they're becoming harder and harder to get through top teams like the Arkansas Razorbacks.
This is a historically good Arkansas offense, on pace to shatter school records as a team this year offensively. Freshman Brinley Bain has exploded onto the scene.
Yeah, Brinley Bain has been absolutely phenomenal. What a talent. 15 doubles on the year to do that, but not to be outdone by the home run, power-hitting Kiana Bell. The transfer in from Cal has been an absolute force in this Razorback lineup.
A freshman and a senior getting it done. Kiana Bell, as you said, in her first year in Fayetteville as well, though, transferring in from Berkeley. Doesn't hurt, though, to have firepower in the circle as well, and Arkansas certainly has that in senior ace Robin Herron.
Yeah, Robin Herron has just been a steady presence for the Arkansas Razorbacks for 4 years, but now as a senior, she really has that leadership and that poise that senior athletes have. She's stronger mentally, and then, of course, physically, it's starting to show.
Herron will deal with a Missouri lineup trying to find its footing after these last couple of games in the SEC. Stefania Bruscato will bat second, Abby Hay fourth. Addie Waits takes strike one, and we are underway at 11:02 local time. Robert Petikoff is the home plate umpire. Lyndon Baptiste at first. Chad Steers at third. 70 degrees.
Yeah, it's just an absolutely beautiful day here in Fayetteville. Beautiful blue sky. It's a great day for softball.
Not that Hogs fans need any excuse to come out to Bogle Park these days.
Yeah, with just the competitive program that this Arkansas Razorback team has become. I mean, it's been quite the legacy here under Coach Steifel, continuing to have just incredible crowds just like today. Coach Steifel has really created a program here that people want to be a part of and fans want to cheer on.
Waits has been tricky to strike out this year. She has twice as many walks as strikeouts.
Addie Waits is one of a few freshmen in the Missouri lineup that has been a key starter for them throughout the year. Missed a curveball just a little bit outside. Robin Herron, that lefty. You know we love some lefties around here. But the lefty pitcher has just an incredible curveball. She throws on both sides of the plate.
Waite stays alive. Herron has struck out 139 batters this year, better than 11 strikeouts per 7 innings. And she struck out 13 over 7 against Tulsa on Wednesday. Low for ball 4, so Waits in a 1-2 hole works back to earn a leadoff walk.
So let's just go ahead and talk about little Miss Robin Herron here. She's a senior. She throws a rise, a curve, a changeup, and a drop ball, about 67 miles per hour. She has pretty good speed, but coming from the left side, that curveball on both sides of the plate is absolutely phenomenal from Robin Herron. She's going to throw it a lot, especially with left-handed hitters up.
See the numbers at home. Arkansas as a team, just one loss in a home game this year, first weekend of SEC play against Georgia. Now Bruscato out in front, 0-2. in the dirt, smothered nicely by Miller behind the plate. Abrascato rolls it to the right side. Nice range from Davison to get the out at first.
So a productive at bat moves the runner over to second base, but there is one out. Carly Davison did a good job covering that 3-4 hole against Stefania Abrascato. So a runner in scoring position here for another freshman, Abby Carr.
Carr has been Missouri's best hitter this year. That one bounces well in front of the plate and gets away from Miller far enough for Waits to move up to third. A significant 60 feet with one out of the inning opens up the possibility of Carr driving in Waits with a productive out.
Yeah, absolutely. It just opens up options here for Abby Carr, whether it's a sacrifice fly or even a downward angle. At times, Missouri has struggled to score offensively, so they really need to try to find a way to push a run across. They had 7 left on base yesterday. Many runners throughout the innings, especially early in the game, but have just struggled to be able to get that clutch hit when they need it.
1 for 11 with runners on base in game 1 yesterday, 0 for 1 so far today. And you'd think there'd be a significant morale boost for Mizzou to get anything across. Not only shut out last night, shut out in the finale to lose the series at home against South Carolina last Sunday. They haven't scored for their last 16 offensive innings in a row.
So Robin Herron does a good job going 3-0, but coming back with that outside curve, that backdoor curve, so to speak, on the outside corner, just doing a good job, just attacking Abby Carr, trying to eliminate walks.
Carr over third, a base hit, and the Missouri Tigers have an SEC run for the first time in a week on an RBI single by Carr.
So just off the end of the bat here, Abby Carr in a 3-1 count, a backdoor curve from Robin Herron, just kind of low in the zone, comes back over the plate. Carr didn't get a good piece of it, but it's enough to just bloop there into shallow left field.
Missouri didn't even get a runner to third base yesterday. They have one across with just one out of the first inning of game 2.
You know, this is a big key for the Missouri offense, just the amount of runners that they've left on base, especially early in the game, just setting the tone offensively for them. Their pitchers do give up some runs, so it's important that they continue to stay aggressive at the plate and try to continue to push runs across, because one run will not win this game.
Ball on a strike on Abby Hay. She had one of Missouri's 5 hits in game 1, all singles.
So Abby Hayes, one of their more strategic defensive plays here. You can look at their shortstop by Atalia Rijo playing up the middle against Abby Hay. That's where most of her hits go when she hits singles, but not today, because that's a big strikeout by Robin Herron on that rise ball.
Number 140 on the year.
So Robin Herron climbing the ladder here on that middle end pitch. Abby Hay just swinging straight right underneath it. Swinging underneath it. So Herron gets the big strikeout of Abby Hay.
Ball 1 to Sydney Forrester, the third of 3 freshmen in the top 5 slots in Missouri's lineup. First 2 have already contributed in this inning. Waits scored the run, Carr drove it in. Forrester's just been trying to find her footing in the SEC, but it never gets easier, does it? Thinking she's trying to find a rhythm, and now she runs into Robin Herron's left hand.
Yeah, absolutely. She's another one of those Missouri freshmen that's come out on pretty strong. She had an excellent preseason, but then recently moved down to the 5th spot. Out of the 3rd spot, just switched places with Abby Carr, who was in 3rd, and just to take some pressure off. The SEC is tough, and she just hasn't been able to perform quite as well. But since moving down to the 5th spot's taken down some pressure.
Softly to Riho, and the side retired. But Mizzou on the board for the first time in the series. 24 pitches for Herron in the first, and a run on the board for the Tigers. The berm out beyond the outfield fence here at Bogle Park. I want to see what their Razorbacks can do against Sierra Harrison. We talked about it with Arkansas. Herron, the normal Friday starter, going on Saturday. Same story for Mizzou.
Yeah, Sierra Harrison, she's been the senior ace, another senior in the circle for Missouri. She throws a rise, a curve, a drop, a changeup. She throws all the pitches, but the thing about Sierra Harrison is that she likes to throw arm side. So outside to lefties, inside to righties. But for her to be successful, she really needs to get her rise ball on both sides of the plate, and that is when she throws her best.
Reagan Johnson, the first to face her. 3-time All-SEC selection who started every game of her career in center field. Career start number 219 today. And she gets a 4-pitch walk to get things started in the bottom of the first. Not the way Mizzou wanted to get things rolling against a fearsome Arkansas lineup. This is the best Razorbacks lineup there's ever been statistically.
Yeah, and Reagan Johnson definitely has that speed at the top of the lineup that you want on base. She is definitely a threat to steal, and with the doubles queen for the Arkansas lineup coming up in Brinley Bain, you definitely do not want her stealing second base. So Sierra Harrison already has her work cut out for her here.
Missouri was burned in a big way by a couple of walks in the first inning of game one last night.
You know, it's the free passes that really can hurt you at times in this collegiate game. Getting behind in counts, not getting ahead, commanding the zone, understanding what an umpire will call for strikes. That's just as important as throwing a changeup and keeping hitters off balance.
And a leadoff walk hurt Arkansas as well in the top of this inning. Addie Waits, who came around to score, got aboard on a free pass to start that frame. Johnson has stolen 18 bags, has not been caught. Bain slices it foul, 2-2. Johnson was on the move, but she'll head back to first. Mentioned those 15 doubles for Bain, one off the conference lead. Only 2 of them, though, have come in SEC games. In the air, right center. Forrester there. One down.
So despite the leadoff walk to Johnson, surprisingly, she did not steal when Brinley Bain was up to bat, but a productive out from Sierra Harrison, bearing down to get a fly out and keep Johnson out of scoring position.
Ella McDowell now. Like Reagan Johnson, she has started every game of her career, albeit only about half the length of Johnson so far. Was 4 out of 9 with a homer against Oklahoma last weekend. Arkansas very competitive in the first 2 games of that series in Norman, including a win. Had the finale get away from them and lost the series.
Yeah, I think it shows Coach Deifel, like, hey, this is where our team's at right now. And the little things, sometimes when you're doing so good, as Sierra Harrison takes a strikeout against Ella McDowell, another big out there from Sierra Harrison after the leadoff walk, bearing down for 2 big outs. Rise ball on the inside corner on that arm side from Sierra Harrison. That right there is her go-to pitch. Just beautiful work there from the pitcher.
Tiana Bell now. Nub back toward the circle. Harrison so good defending her position and makes quick work of that. A leadoff 4-pitch walk, but Harrison bears down from there. 1-0 Tigers after one. Play on the first day because there's a very good chance they'll go into the SEC tournament needing at least one win to secure postseason eligibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for the SEC tournament. I think the view there really said it. There's so much drama in it, and it's exciting. And something extraordinary always happens. I think 2 years ago, Missouri kind of surprised a lot of people. They came in second in the SEC tournament. Last year, obviously, there was some big walk-off home runs, including one by Bree Ellis. So something exciting always happens. You can see the SEC in the RPI in the top 20. Arkansas #1 in the RPI.
Good way to create drama. Have 10 of the top 20 RPI teams in your conference.
Yes, with a need to win games and people that have played some very competitive 3-game series, then having to face each other once again.
Saw the 2022 SEC tournament title for Arkansas out of the board. Just one of many things that Courtney Deifel has brought to this program for the first time since she arrived in 2016. 3-1 on Madison Updegrove. She pops it up towards second base. Davis in there for the out. Took over an Arkansas program that was 1-23 in the SEC the year prior. That was their record again in her first season, but it took her only a couple of years to get them back above 500. And since 2018, the Hogs have finished 500 or better in the SEC in their last 7 full seasons, and they've won 2/3 of their conference games since COVID.
Yeah, Courtney Deifel, I mean, she's just a champion wherever she's been, including a national championship with Cal back in her collegiate days, a catcher. She's just been phenomenal turning this program around. She's brought on some incredible assistant coaches to help fill in places where she felt they could help, and she's just really turned this program around. And then you look around and see the crowds that Bogle Park brings, and you know that it's something that she's brought an infused excitement into this city and into this softball program. It makes you want to play. If you're an athlete, like, man, I want to play in front of a berm of fans full of, cardinal red.
These are two of the best supported programs in the country by attendance, Missouri and Arkansas. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Sophie Smith. Back in the lineup at second base. She's been really scuffling. Down the line, a foul ball, narrowly. That's the home plate umpire's call. The fans are cheering, but that's going to be a foul ball, and Smith will come back to the box.
Yeah, Nate. Well, I talked to Coach Anderson briefly before the game, and she said actually Sophie Smith, she didn't start her in the midweek game yesterday, or midweek game last week. You can see that's fielded definitely foul. And didn't start in game 1 just because her offense has really struggled. She's been a key at second base, but offensively, she's been trying to just trigger Sophie Smith to be like, hey, have better at-bats, be competitive. You might not always get a hit, but having a quality at-bat should always be the goal. And she needs Sophie Smith to find a way to step up here as they finish SEC play. And that does not do it.
Heron with her second strikeout today.
So just another great pitch by Robin Heron. She is a tough pitcher. Wow, what a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. An outside rise ball. Even has a little bit of a backdoor spin as it crosses that plate. Just beautiful.
So now Sanaya Hill getting a chance in left field. Missouri has also worked her in at second base as a potential option there.
As she played second base in game 1, moving out to left field in game 2.
Hill ropes it into left center and splits the gap. Cut off very well by Johnson to hold Hill with a single. Missouri's second hit off of Heron, but that was excellent defense by Johnson to keep Hill out of scoring position.
Yeah, Sanaya Hill taking this backdoor curve just through the gap right there in the left center gap. Reagan Johnson does a great job cutting that off, keeping the speedy Hill to just one base.
It's the kind of play that doesn't necessarily stand out of the box score in center field. She's not taking away a hit. But especially with 2 outs, how important to keep Hill at first base rather than letting her get to second.
Yeah, I think Reagan Johnson is one of those outfielders that's probably kind of falls in the mix a little bit, but wow, does she really just do an excellent job cutting the ball off. She's made some great diving plays throughout the year. She's just always roaming the outfield, getting the job done for Arkansas.
Had that great catch yesterday. She's coming in on this one, but allows Riho to take it from short. Missouri strands Hill. We go to the home second. That is hitting and getting on base in a way the Razorbacks never have.
Yeah, look at that. A 357 batting average, their record a 331. Really impressive. Just everything is up this year. Just more productivity. Coach Deifel mentioned that their offense just seems very business-like. They're very serious about offense, and sometimes she wants them to relax a little bit or hey, let's have a little bit more fun. And she's like, and all the girls will respond, we are having fun, Coach. But they're just, they very, very much take their hitting serious. They're very into their swings, and it's showing up offensively in their numbers as a team.
5, 6, 7 here for the Hogs. Natalia Riho to be followed by Kaylee Wyckoff and Carly Davison. Every hitter in this lineup for the Razorbacks, 300 or better. Riho right side off of Hay. Glove by Smith. Back to Hay, who loses the race to the bag. As it stands, a leadoff infield single for Riho.
Let's check this out here. So does Abby Hayes' foot get there? From this angle, it looks almost like a tie.
The rule on the field that runner was safe at first base. Missouri's challenging that rule. The following plays under review.
Ooh.
Missouri's going to use a challenge. It might depend on the length of Abby Hayes' spikes.
From that angle, it almost looks like her foot beats it. The umpire, though, if you check him out, he's over here. And you can see the umpire kind of will sneak behind, is behind the first base coach. And of course, your coach is always going to call you safe.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm seeing enough there to overturn. And this would be a boost for Arkansas, getting the leadoff hitter aboard for the second time in as many innings. Razorbacks trailing after the first inning for just the 8th time all year, trying to battle right back. Here's one more look. Oh, maybe. Ooh. Can you tell?
It's like the spike. Abby Hay at first base, her spikes are down, and Riho's spikes are up.
Out on first base. Missouri retains that challenge. They still have 2.
And that last look was just enough.
Wow, and that's definitely a break for the Missouri offense. You know, for Missouri's defense, Sierra Harrison, just as a pitcher, we talked about the Arkansas offense, but they are deep, 1 through 9. All of them are good. So anytime you can keep a leadoff off base, that is huge. There is no breaks in this Arkansas lineup. So going to the challenge and winning it, that's a big break for the Missouri defense.
Kaylee Wyckoff now. Second-year Razorback in the number 6 spot. Transferred from Texas Tech, where she was Big 12 Freshman of the Year back in 23. First team All-League in 24. 200th collegiate start for her today, counting her 95 with Tech. Think about that, a first-team All-Conference player a couple of years ago who's hitting in the number 6 spot. 300 batters in all 9 slots. The tension, the stress that must put on you as a pitcher.
I know, right? I'm stressed just thinking about it as a pitcher. So many good hitters in this Arkansas lineup. There's really no break. And in some ways, as a pitcher, it makes you focus a little bit more, right? Like each pitch has to be a lot better. You can't miss your spots or let them leak over the plate. But in other aspects, it really like gives you a little bit of stress before the game because there is no, hey, the bottom of the lineup struggling, or this girl's always gets out. She's just in there to play defense sort of person in the lineup for Arkansas. They just are solid 1 through 9.
2-2. Wyckoff lifts it to right center. Forrester with the call coming way over towards center field. That's a bit unusual. Missouri has the great defense in center field from Kaylee Langer. Usually she's taking anything in the gaps.
Yeah, Forrester must have gotten a good read on that to take that from Kaylee Langer.
So Harrison now has retired 5 in a row after a 4-pitch walk to the first batter she faced today, Reagan Johnson. And it's Carly Davison now.
You know, in some ways, Harrison and the Missouri Tigers, you know, they have nothing to lose, really. Like, they may make it to postseason, they may not, and they might feel pressure to make sure they're above 500, but in some ways, it's just go and leave it all on the table. There's no, if they lose this game, it's not a bad loss, right? Like, if they win, it keeps them in it. But being able to play free and leave it all on the field, especially as a senior, like that is so important because you don't know how much softball you have left as a senior athlete. So it's more important to play with zero regrets and play with your heart and know that, hey, once I hang up my cleats at the end of my collegiate career, that I gave it everything I had.
Off the end of the bat, Abby Hay running out of room, and it's into the screen, 2-2.
Looks like she tried to jump the screen there.
Keep in mind, too, when we're talking about the depth of this Arkansas lineup, that they've been without Dakota Kennedy now for a week since her scary-looking leg injury in Norman against Oklahoma. The official word is that she is considered day-to-day with a lower leg injury. She has been out there participating in warm-ups the last couple of games, dressed out, has a big old brace on that leg. But there is optimism that the All-American will be back in the lineup before too long.
Yeah, you can see that 467 on-base percentage. That's definitely can be missed within the lineup, but she's definitely a person that helps turn the lineup over, gives them an opportunity, but also it gives some other hitters an opportunity to hit and like get ready for postseason play, potentially as pinch hitters as Dakota Kennedy continues to get ready. Because if there's one thing we know about postseason softball is that it's intense and you never know who the hero might be.
1-2-3 inning for Sierra Harrison on just 14 pitches. She's retired 6 in a row. More importantly, hurt the overall record because, as we've said, if they are not at least 500, they are not eligible for an NCAA regional, no matter what the strength of schedule or the RPI or anything else says.
Yeah, absolutely. Missouri was just like, when you look back at their month-to-month progression of the season, their February, oh my goodness, it was just a struggle bus for the University of Missouri. And I hate to say it like that, but it just really was. They absolutely struggled. They started slow. They lost a lot of games. They had a losing record in February, but then they were able to turn it around in March and have continued down that path in April. So they have progressively gotten better over the course of the season, but now they're fighting that preseason record here at the end of April.
0-2 on Addie Waits. Top of the Missouri lineup here in the third. Waits reached on a walk and came around to score the only run of the game back in the first inning. She'll be followed by Stefania Abriscato and Abby Carr. In some ways, Missouri's season is the model of such a young team, one that has 3 freshmen in the top 5 slots in their lineup. Back to the circle, Heron takes it for the out, in that they have some very, very good wins. They also have some very, very bad losses. They've lost 10 non-conference games this year to teams outside the top 40 in the RPI.
Yeah, and those bad losses could really hurt them, even if they are at 500, to be honest. But you just don't know. So you have to look at it. And the reason is because when you look at those Miami of Ohio's and those McNeese's, it's not just one loss. They lost to them in a tournament twice. So they do have those. But, of course, they have some big wins, too. They have some wins against Liberty and FAU and Duke. They have a win against Alabama. They have a win against Georgia, all of these top 25 teams. So the question is, will they be able to get to 500 by the end of the SEC tournament? And how will the committee look at their overall body of work?
1 ball, 2 strikes on Abrascato, who grounded out to second her first time.
Yeah, big cut there by Stefania Abrascato. The lefty-on-lefty matchup with Robin Heron definitely plays into Robin Heron's key pitches here with that curveball in rise.
Off the hands, should be playable for Miller. 2 gone.
So good work at the top of the lineup for the second time through by Robin Heron. Easy ground ball back to her from Addie Waits, and then just a fly ball back to her catcher from Stefania Abrascato. You know, as this game has moved on from the first inning, it seems like Robin Heron has settled in a little bit more. She's controlling the count a little bit better, getting ahead more.
Carr has 1 of 2 Missouri hits in this game and the only RBI. But to your point, just 1 Tiger has been on since the Carr RBI single in the first inning.
Yeah, and Abby Carr's hit, it wasn't a very strong hit. It was just a little bit of a bloop single into shallow left field, but it got the job done to score Addie Waits and give Missouri that 1 run in the top of the first.
3 balls and a strike on Carr. Showed you the graphic with those bad losses for Missouri in the RPI, 4 of them against teams outside the top 70. To put that in perspective, Arkansas has lost 1 game to anyone outside the top 20. Carr, liftoff to center. Johnson has room in front of the track, and the side is retired in order. Heron settling in, Harrison settling in. Pitchers duel in Fayetteville. They pulled off a run in the top of the first inning. Nothing across since. Both pitchers have settled in. Get a look at what else is going on around the SEC this Saturday. Georgia and Oklahoma getting ready on ESPN2. That game will be 2:30 Eastern. And to cap it, number 2 Alabama, number 9 Tennessee, the top 10 matchup of the weekend there, Monica.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good series. That Alabama has been really, really good this year, and obviously Tennessee with the 3 aces that they have in the circle looking to dominate that Alabama offense.
Sierra Harrison back to work. Kennedy Miller takes ball 1. Harrison has retired the last 6 hogs in a row since she walked the leadoff batter Reagan Johnson on 4 pitches. Ramsey Walker and then the aforementioned Johnson, 8, 9, and 1 due in this inning for the Razorbacks. You mentioned the 3 aces for Tennessee. Missouri will be back home to close out the season in the regular year, at least, against Tennessee. Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Columbia. And Arkansas will travel to Austin to take on the Longhorns. So it's not getting any easier for either of these teams down the stretch.
Yeah, and is it easy any weekend in the SEC? I mean, the SEC is so tough. I feel like every single weekend you're having a top 10 or a top 20 or a top 15 matchup. And that is why the SEC is the best conference for softball. There's so many talented athletes in every series, whether you're, no matter what the rankings are, I feel like every series comes down to the wire and to the end of the game.
Abriscato couldn't frame it. That's something Larissa Anderson talked to us about. They feel like Sierra Harrison is missing some calls here and there and want Abriscato to do a little more in how she's presenting the pitches to umpires.
Yeah, she talked about Stefania Abriscato. Sometimes when she goes to that modified catching stance where she drops a knee, she loses a little bit of height. Ground ball back to Harrison with the flip, the long flip over there. We love to see it. A little PFP. Sarah Harrison comes back and gets the leadoff out for Missouri.
We have seen Sierra Harrison play a lot of defense. I don't know that either of us have seen her make a mistake fielding her position. You can go back a few weeks ago at home against LSU. It's not always the little rollers back to her. She caught twice in the span of 3 pitches against back-to-back batters, a pair of comeback line drives.
Yeah, nothing fires up a pitching staff or hopefully a defense too, is a little PFP when pitchers field their position well. The 5th infielder, often overlooked by teams, especially at the youth level, because they are doing their bullpens or practices and not necessarily practicing at an infield position. You forget that the reaction to be able to field from the pitcher is so much faster than first or third. You know, short and second base, they get a lot of time to read hops and decide if they want to charge or sit back on a ball, and then first and third have a little less time, and then pitcher a lot less time.
Nice play in the stands.
He's excited. He's pretty pumped about that. Now let's watch the height of this here. Okay, he's the first one standing up, and you know what I love about that? 2 hands. He shows the umpire the ball afterwards, and then he shows it off to all his friends. Just a great work of defense there in the stands.
Harrison got a piece of that comebacker. Sophie Smith off the deflection, and the call is safe at first. The Missouri dugout can't believe it. Surely there will be a challenge coming here. That didn't look even all that close.
Yeah, but you know what? I would say Ramsey Walker, the hustle, but look at this. Tips off the glove of Sierra Harrison. Sophie Smith did a good job, but Walker just hustling down the line. I think we'll see a challenge here.
Mizzou is challenging a safe call to first base. The final play is under review.
Missouri has already won a challenge at first base in this game, leading off the 2nd inning. Now trying to keep Walker off the bases. And in fact, the prior play was not totally dissimilar in that it was deflected officially in the scorebook. That prior challenge play that Missouri overturned went 3-4-3 because Abby Hay got a piece of it. Sophie Smith fielded it and then threw it back to Hay. Here it would go 1-4-3 after Harrison had the first touch.
Yeah. You know, I think the ball does beat her. Yeah, it looks like she's in the air there, and you can see the ball at the back of Abby Hay's glove. Her glove gives a little bit. It looks like she might need to tighten those strings up on that web.
That's a good point.
After review, the call on the field is changed. Runner is out. Missouri retains their challenge. They have 2 challenges remaining.
Larissa Anderson 2 for 2 on her challenges in the first 3 innings today, and now 2 gone in the inning.
So another big out to keep a base runner off base as we continue to get to the middle of this game. Sophie Smith did an excellent job playing that deflection, and Abby Hay with the nice stretch over there at first base.
So that's now 8 in a row Harrison has set down, and Reagan Johnson, the batter, the only hog to reach so far. But she reached base without having to take the bat off her shoulder. Since then, Harrison, a picture of efficiency. 39 pitches, 8 straight outs. Johnson pulls back on the butt. 1 ball, then 1 strike.
Reagan Johnson has just a ton of speed. Keeping her off base is big. A lot of teams have been playing her in a shift.
And we saw Mizzou go.
You can see here this big gap in that left center area for Reagan Johnson. So if I'm her, I'm targeting that. We're looking for anything high I can power slap into that left center gap past Madison Updegrove at shortstop. This is definitely her bread and butter area.
To the right side, tricky for Harrison. Glove flip, they got her.
Wow, what a play by Sierra Harrison with the flip. Reagan Johnson has so much speed, but Sierra Harrison working with the PFP.
We'll visit with Larissa Anderson after this, but there might be a challenge coming. Would be our third challenge play at first base already.
Arkansas is challenging the outcall of first base. The following plays under review.
It's very, very close.
Yeah, this is a really close play.
Sierra Harrison showing everything in her defensive bag.
You know, I like that Sierra Harrison didn't go to the toss right away. She followed with the glove flip. It does stick a little bit and gets a little bit crowded. There's a lot of traffic over there between Reagan Johnson, Sierra Harrison, and Abby Hay.
And because it's awkward, Hay has her left foot on the bag. She's not really able to reach out for this ball as much as she ordinarily would.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at that stretch from Reagan Johnson. Gosh, I think she can probably do the splits with that kind of stretch right there. But absolutely great point, Nate. Abby Hay isn't able to stretch towards Sierra Harrison because of how the play developed. I think this might get overturned.
I think so too, and chances are it will be. The awkward nature of that makes the difference. Had Hay been able to reach out another foot, they probably get her.
Yeah, just a little bit too busy. Too many people in a small space.
Great play by Sierra Harrison either way, but looks like Johnson's going to be on for the second time. And Harrison's been involved defensively on all three plays in this inning. Simple PFP initially, then she got a piece of the line drive to keep it on the infield and get the out for number 2, and that one would have been as good a play as she's made all year.
Yeah, when you have that much speed of Reagan Johnson or of any athlete there, it can cause some clustering, right? So, cause some traffic, cause some confusion. They did their best here, but I do think it does kind of look like Reagan Johnson's toes get down as she stretches through that. It makes me kind of wonder, does stretching on the play...
After review, the corner field is changed. The runner on first is safe. Arkansas retains their challenge. They have 2 challenges remaining.
So 3 challenges, 2 for Missouri, 1 for Arkansas, all successful.
So it is as we thought. It is overturned. Reagan Johnson did beat that out by a spike. Now this is where it gets interesting with 2 outs. Johnson is a threat to steal. She's 17 for 17 on the year, and they didn't steal her in the first inning. So I imagine they will attempt this time.
Brinley Bain, the batter, flied out to right. One of the other things coaches sometimes consider is how they would feel about the hitter at the plate leading off the following inning as compared to batting with 2 outs here.
Yeah.
And Bain, you'd think, would be a perfectly good option. She has an on-base percentage well over 500, so Arkansas would not mind having her starting the 4th if Johnson were thrown out for the first time all year.
Yeah, and it might be a risk that she's willing to take, because another thing to think about here is Brinley Bain, with all the doubles that she's hit, she's also hitting .727 with runners on second base alone. So getting Reagan Johnson to second base definitely raises the focus level and intensity level of Brinley Bain as a hitter.
Harrison seems like she's having a little trouble in this inning getting the pitch call.
Yeah, that could just be the system, a little bit of a delay. You know, rhythm is really important for pitchers. So with replays and things like that, a lot of downtime and flow, and sometimes just a little bit of a late delay on their pitch call system coming in, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Full count on Bain. To that point, Sierra Harrison did look a bit irritated as that replay review dragged on and on.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just sitting out there waiting and waiting, and it's not like you get another pitch. So now, no matter how long the replay is, you're standing there waiting to throw your next pitch.
Outside ball 4, second Harrison walk in the first 3 innings. And it brings up the All-American from a year ago, Ella McDowell, though she struck out on 3 pitches against Harrison back in the first inning, and the rise ball that struck her out was up around her eyeballs.
You can see that. 47 RBIs on the year. So coming down to 2-out hitting here. And can Sierra Harrison leave these runners stranded?
From a pitching standpoint, when you had a really good first at bat against a good hitter like this, are you thinking let's do the same thing, or you got to change it up?
Yeah, I'm thinking let's do the same thing. Let's get her on that rise ball again. But sometimes what we like to do is we want to reverse the pitch calling. So maybe we'll start with the rise ball to see how she is, if she's thinking about it too. You got to remember the hitter's thinking about the pitches that maybe they missed or they watched or they swung and missed. So she's going to expect that rise ball from Sierra Harrison. I would like to throw that early in the count, try to get a foul ball, and then kind of reverse my way back through the pitch calling situation.
2 balls, no strikes on McDowell. 2 on and 2 out.
So now Ella McDowell's in a hitter's count here. She's improved this season on all facets offensively.
Had a couple of hits yesterday. In fact, had the only multi-hit game for either team in the series opener last night. Drove in a run. Harrison back to even up the count.
Another good pitch by Sierra Harrison. Just attacking the zone, going 2-0 and then coming back. You know, Ella McDowell had 2 hitters counts there, 2-0 and 2-1. She watches both pitches, so she's looking for something specific here. Harrison calls timeout here. I think they're just talking about the pitch communication system here. Is just a little bit of a delay. Yep, they're going to switch this out with the battery dying or something going on with those things.
Deuce is wild here in the 3rd inning. A pair of 2-out runners. Johnson on an infield single, Bain on a walk. 2 down to the frame, 2 balls and 2 strikes on McDowell, who for such a powerful hitter strikes out very rarely. Popped up at a short right, Smith is out, and strands 2 Razorbacks. This high-scoring Arkansas offense kept off the board in the first 3 innings. We'll talk to Larissa Anderson after this. Arkansas as we move to the 4th inning in Fayetteville. Larissa Anderson is with us now. Coach, I tell you what, it's been a good start for your team. It's been an even better start for you, though. 2 for 2 on challenges in the first 3 innings. How we feeling?
I wish those carried over to runs. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, speaking of runs, you guys scored early in the first, which is, I know, nice to see. But you got Robin Heron on the mound, and she seems to kind of be under control right now. What does the offense have to do to put up some more runs on the scoreboard?
We got to pick a speed. Right now, we're caught a little bit in between her changeup, and she's throwing multiple times in each at bat. So we got to pick a speed, either hard or soft, and stick to that plan.
Coach, we appreciate you.
Thanks, MIZ.
Larissa Anderson with us as we head to the 4th. We'll talk to Arkansas head coach Courtney Deifel when we go into the bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, and there you have it. Missouri put up a run early because of a walk and a bloop single in the first, and now it's exactly that. Can Missouri put a couple more runs on the board against the Arkansas ace, Robin Heron? Since that first inning, Heron has just settled in absolutely phenomenally. She's started to get ahead a lot more. She's using multiple speeds. Her backdoor curve and curveball both look really good.
Abby Hay, center field. But the softball is not carrying so far today. Johnson there for the catch. Both Carr to finish the third and Hay to start the fourth have given it a ride out to center, but neither one has had legs.
Yeah, just... well, I was going to say warning track power, but I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to do that. I know her teammates are probably telling them that, but you know what that means? It means Robin Heron is getting that ball in a good location and getting just enough on the corner that Abby Hay wasn't able to get quite enough barrel on it to send it a little bit farther.
Hey, warning track power is a compliment when it comes from a pitcher. That's a good thing for you, right? You love warning track power.
True.
No balls, one strike on Sid Forrester.
Sometimes I like to say, pitch them there, play them there. So, hey, if I can play, send balls to my outfielder and let them just play catch all day long with the hitters, that's okay with me.
So if you got Reagan Johnson in center field,
I
why
know,
not let her work?
Right? She's great out there.
Up and in on Forrester.
That one just kind of gets away. Robin Heron just cups that rise ball at the last second, and as a lefty, the ball's already coming in on that right-handed hitter. That's what you're seeing on that reaction from Sydney Forrester.
Heron's 1-2 pitch. Courtney Deifel said Heron's pitch execution, hitting her spots is what dictates if she's at her best. They know each other so well now after 4 years, like the back of their hands. And their relationship has developed such that they can be very direct and honest with each other. Courtney Deifel said she can be blunt when she needs to be.
And
Forrester did not go 2-2.
yeah, that's important. I think, that's probably a little bit of the catcher in Courtney Deifel coming out, knowing and understanding and dealing with pitchers and understanding the pressure of a battery and knowing when to crack jokes and make them loosen up and when to be just direct. I mean, no pitcher will tell you that they want someone to come out. And what a beautiful pitch it is right there. The off speed on the strikeout, falling off the table. Miss Robin Heron, what a pitch tonight. Just absolutely beautiful. It even tails back in just a little bit. Not much Sydney Forrester can do with that.
Madison up to Grove. She had a pop-up to the second baseman Davis in her first time.
This is the part of the lineup that Coach Larissa Anderson has mentioned that when I asked her, I said, what's one thing that you guys need to get a couple more wins and to pull off some big games? And she mentioned, she's like, the bottom of our lineup is just killing us. We need more productive at-bats. We need more, even if they're not getting hits, finding ways on base, going deeper in the count, upping the pitch count of the pitcher. And this is where Madison Updegrove, Sophie Smith, this bottom of the lineup has to do a better job for Missouri. She said this is also why she put in Sanaya Hill in the last 2 games to try to spark something at the bottom of the lineup and give her an opportunity to create a little bit more competition within the team.
Two. Updegrove out in front. Miller smothers it. Back-to-back strikeouts for Heron. She's retired 7 in a row. We'll visit with her head coach, Courtney Deifel, on the other side. The Arkansas lineup scheduled in the home 4th inning, but without a run on just 1 hit so far against Missouri. We visit now with Razorbacks head coach Courtney Deifel. Coach, what do you want to see against Sierra Harrison to put something on the board?
Well, I want to see us trust our plan. We look really unsettled in the box. And it's just not like us. So we're the aggressor usually, so I want us to get back to that. She's doing a great job of keeping us off balance, but we need to fail the way we want to fail and go for it.
Yeah, and speaking of getting settled in, it seems like Robin Heron has definitely done that. Retired the last 7 in a row, 5 strikeouts. What do you like from what you're seeing so far from her today?
Well, she did. You're exactly right. She settled in. She just was a little wonky in that first inning. I don't know that you ever had wonky days, but she's just a little wonky, and she just straightened herself out. She's trusting her spin, and we're seeing her get better each inning. So
yeah, she's absolutely continuing to get better as this game has continued on. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. We picked.
Yeah, did you have any wonky first innings, Monica? Can you remember that one time?
Oh, yes, of course. I think the first inning is definitely underestimated for all pitchers, whether you're a little bit nervous or there's a long time from your warm-up to the start of the game because of pregame ceremonies and national anthem. There's just a lot of things, especially when you're the home team as a pitcher. That's when you see a little bit more of the first inning, trying to get comfortable, trying to get settled in. Outside of all the distractions, you also have to figure out the zone, have to make sure which pitches are working. So it's very common that the first inning can be really difficult for pitchers. And you saw it from both sides. Both Sierra Harrison and Robin Herron both led off the game with a leadoff walk to the number one hitter on both respective offenses. But, Robin Herron has just absolutely settled in. She looks phenomenal since that first inning. Her pitches are moving a lot better. Again, 5 strikeouts so far since that first inning.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tiana Bell. 4, 5, and 6 here for Arkansas. Rio and Wyckoff to follow. Bell had a bouncer back to the circle at Harrison in the first inning. Arkansas stranded Reagan Johnson at first base in that first inning. They stranded 2 on, Johnson at second, and Bain behind her at first in the third inning. Chop to Updegrove. Beats Bell by a step, 1 down.
So just a good piece of work by Sierra Harrison against Tiana Bell. Madison Updegrove making a strong throw. You can see she sits back on and takes the second hop there, but makes up with it for that strong throw across the field. That's one of those things as a shortstop. You have to understand the speed of the runner in the box, whether to charge the ball or if you have time to take that long hop.
Natalia Rijo grounded to second base her first time. Rijo on pace for career highs in every major offensive category, including an OPS nearly 200 points better than last season, more than 400 points better than her freshman year. Just the 7th time all year Arkansas has been held scoreless through the first 3 innings. Off the hands to center. Langer for the second out. Harrison now has kept Arkansas scoreless for 3 2/3. In those prior 6, without a run through 3 innings, they had 2 wins and 4 losses.
Yeah, Harrison just doing a good job today. Mixing speeds, throwing her changeup when she wants on command, and just keeping the Arkansas hitters a little bit off balance and a little bit unsure on what side of the plate they're going to throw. When we talked about Harrison at the beginning of the game, she does throw a lot of arm side. She likes to be outside to lefties, just like that, and then inside to righties. When she mixes up the changeup and she's throwing it well, and if she can throw both sides of the plate across her body, that is when she is at her best.
1 ball, 1 strike on Kaylee Wyckoff. OPS back over 1,100 this year, back in the neighborhood of where it was during her 2 all-league seasons at Texas Tech. She's got some pop, too. Into left field. Hill had a bit of an adventure, but it's a 1-2-3 inning for Sierra Harrison and Missouri. 4 zeros up on the board.
Using a different changes of speed, her curveball on both sides of the plate, some big rise balls as well, and keeping the Arkansas Razorbacks in this game.
But her offense just 1 out of 13 in this game. Mizzou will send a pinch hitter to the plate to lead off this visiting 5th inning. Lenny Ramsey will pinch bat in place of Sophie Smith in the number 7 hole. Sanaya Hill scheduled next, and then Kaylee Langer. Herron has retired 7 straight.
Yeah, I like this move, putting in a pinch hitter, because Herron has retired 7 and has just kind of shut down the Missouri offense since that 1st inning. Trying to mix things up, see, instead of waiting till the 7th inning to put your pinch hitters in, trying to make something happen a little bit earlier in the game.
1-2 on Ramsey, because not to take anything away from Sierra Harrison in the circle for Mizzou, who does have an SEC shutout this month. It came against LSU 3 weeks ago. Against an offense of Arkansas's caliber, it's just unlikely Missouri wins this game 1-0.
Yeah, you know, I don't foresee this game being 1-0. It's not only because it's Arkansas's offense in Missouri, but because just that's the state of softball right now. How many 1-0 ball games are we seeing across the nation? You're not. You're just absolutely not. And you're seeing a lot of 2-1s, 3-4s, 6-7s. So far, this has been a low offensive scoring game. And as Robin Herron racks up another strikeout, her 6th on the day, just take a look at this curveball right across the plate, hip to hip. Just an absolutely beautiful pitch from the southpaw.
Hill chases strike 1. She's saying there was catcher's interference, but the umpires are not giving it to her. 8 in a row, Herron has set down since Hill had a ringing line drive single into left center.
A good catch back there by Kennedy Miller. She put a little smile on that. You can see her laughing. Maybe a little surprised that she caught that one, as Robin Herron let that one fly a little bit. Gotta love those little intricacies between pitchers and catchers. You know, Robin is just smiling back at Kennedy behind the plate. They work so much together.
Hill into right center, long run, Johnson. It is off the wall. Hill stretches for second. She is in. 3 Missouri hits in the game, 2 from Sanaya Hill. A left center field single, a right center field double.
Well, she's been waiting to get into the lineup for the Missouri Tigers, and she is making it count. She gets her front foot down, but the most important thing I like about Sanaya Hill's swing is it's so short to the ball, and that is what is getting her good barrel contact with the speed to slide safely into second.
Looks like Courtney Deifel and Arkansas are going to challenge. They want to see if there's any chance Rijo's tag was on when Hill came off the bag.
Arkansas is challenging the safe call at second base. Final plays under review.
Based on that first look we saw there, I'm not confident the tag was still on her, but we'll look at it. And it makes sense. Arkansas still has both challenges remaining.
Yeah, and if they lose a challenge here, it doesn't necessarily hurt them. Yeah, it doesn't even.
Ooh.
No, I think her front foot is still, although it's on the dirt, it's still attached to the bag.
That'll be the question, is the inside of her left foot there on the bag. We might be able to see it from this angle. Can't really tell
Yeah.
there. Because certainly the tag gets on her before that right toe gets back on the bag. If this call were overturned, it would go as a single for Hill, 9-6 in the scorebook on the putout.
It's definitely an interesting challenge, but one worth the risk with the double with just one out. And starting to get later in the game, you know, we're in the 5th now. Missouri's getting ready to turn over their lineup. They have the 9-hitter up.
One of the things that coaches talk about in all sports is not just the likelihood of success on a challenge, but the leverage of the situation. In other words, how much are you getting? Succeeding on a play that has relatively little value in changing the game versus succeeding on one that has a big difference. You just can't really see there. The question will be if there's enough there to overturn on the basis that her left foot is not touching the edge of the bag.
Yeah, I think that her left foot...
After review, the corner field stands runner safe. Arkansas has one challenge remaining.
Yeah, I think there's just not enough to be able to overturn that or see that the left field, I can't imagine that her left foot was not touching the base there. Either way, Sanaya Hill with a double with one out for Missouri.
And Mizzou's going to use another pinch hitter, Gracie Britton. We talked about this with Larissa Anderson this week, Monica, because there was a big spot, second inning, bases loaded of the rubber match against South Carolina last Sunday when Sophie Smith struck out with one out and then Kaylee Langer to finish the inning. And Larissa Anderson regretted not pulling the trigger even early in the game and using Britton, who's been a very good pinch hitter as a freshman, in place of Smith with a chance to bring home at least one run, maybe more. Her caution makes sense because Britton is the backup catcher. But she said if a similar spot came up, she would not hesitate to pull the trigger, and here's Britton.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where early in the game, Missouri had the bases loaded, and is it too early to put a pinch hitter in? And I think Missouri's at the phase now, at the part where they're 25-25. They're at 500. There's no time waiting. You have to take the risk. And she said that from after the game, you know, I thought about it, and I was like, I have to take that gamble from here on out. I can't wait and hope that, you know, Gracie Britton has an opportunity to pinch hit later in the game with a runner in scoring position. I need to pull the trigger earlier in the game with the bottom of the lineup.
3 balls and a strike on Britton. A redshirt freshman, Hill, ignites a potential rally with a one-out double, the first extra base hit for Mizzou in the series. And now a true freshman, Britton, in the box, trying to bring her home. Ball 4. Gracie Britton, as a pinch hitter, has an uncanny ability to draw walks. And she'll be lifted right away.
You know, it's don't underestimate the power of a good eye and understanding the strike zone, right? And also understanding your zone, because when you are ahead in the count, you can be pickier. You can be pickier on what your zone is. And if it matches with the umpires, then you're always going to be in a good situation where you just might draw that walk.
Kaylee Langer re-enters immediately, so Britton does her job. 2 on, 1 out, top of the Mizzou lineup, Addie Waits, who has walked and grounded out. Arkansas has been very careful with Herron, conservative since the Alabama series, protected that knee and her plant leg. Part of letting her go 7 innings on Wednesday in Tulsa was about building the stamina back up to make sure she can go a full game. Waits pops it off her hands. Davison, second out.
So Robin Herron, after the walk to the pinch hitter, gets the clutch strikeout to Addie Waits, the freshman. But Stefania Abrascato, another lefty coming to the plate. I think that at time we need to go ahead and let you know Robin Herron's ERA versus left-handed hitters is 1.63. Her ERA versus right-handed hitters is 2.29. So she is very successful against lefty hitters.
Abrascato pops it up. Davison got the second out. Rijo gets the third. Missouri strands 2, and Robin Harrison keeps the Razorbacks deficit at 1 run. So successful today, even against such a good offense.
Well, you know what she's doing today? She is just spreading the zone very, very well and trickling in that changeup in strategic moments. I like that she's throwing the changeup sparingly, but enough that the hitters have to respect the change of speed. And when Sierra Harrison commands both sides of the plate, that is when she is the most successful.
Bottom third of the Arkansas lineup in this 5th inning. Look at the numbers for this Razorbacks offense with just 1 hit in this game, a couple of walks. They've stranded 3. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carly Davison. She'll be followed by Kennedy Miller and Ramsey Walker, the scheduled trio for the Razorbacks.
I think Arkansas's offense is, they haven't played from behind a lot. Missouri scored in the 1st inning.
And there's just the second Arkansas hit today. Davison is aboard.
So Davison just doing a great job here, staying nice and short on this inside rise ball from Sierra Harrison. She doesn't get full barrel on it, but gets enough to drop that right in to shallow right center field.
First time since the opening inning, Arkansas has had the leadoff hitter aboard. And the first time anyone other than Reagan Johnson, the leadoff hitter, or Brinley Bain in the number 2 spot has been on base. Miller bunts it back toward the circle. Harrison makes the play. Sacrifice moves Davison into scoring position. 1 away.
So a little sacrifice bunt here just to get a runner in scoring position. Just a little bit of old school softball. You don't see a lot of sacrifice bunting in today's game. But because we are late in the game, we're starting to get, bottom of the 5th, 6th, 7th. Every base runner counts, especially when the Arkansas offense has been a little bit quiet today.
Larissa Anderson is headed out for a visit with Sierra Harrison and the entire infield. Just the second time Arkansas has had a runner in scoring position. And the number 9 batter, Ramsey Walker, will be scheduled. Should note as well, Missouri has made a defensive change. Addie Kohler has taken over in right field in place of Sydney Forrester. It shows you how much value Larissa Anderson places on Kohler's defense, because normally they would use her when Sydney Forrester made the last out of a prior inning or as close to it as possible to maximize the amount of time Kohler can play before Forrester re-enters. Forrester is due up in the 6th inning, so they're going to get, if Forrester re-enters, just 1 defensive inning out of Kohler, but using her here nonetheless.
Well, you never know when the other team is going to make a push, and you have to foresee it as a head coach.
Popped up by Walker. Updegrove puts it away for out number 2.
And the last thing you want as a head coach is to think, oh, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. You don't want that, so you're going to play the player there when you feel that the other team is going to make a push. And this is just one of 2 times Arkansas has had a runner in scoring position.
Johnson into left, a base hit. Davison waved to the plate. The throw is late. Arkansas ties the game on an RBI single by Reagan Johnson. The Hogs have only had 5 base runners today. 3 of them are Reagan Johnson.
Well, Reagan Johnson, have a day.
A critical 2-out base hit for Johnson. Drives home Davison. And Missouri will make a pitching change. Marissa McCann, yesterday's starter, has been up in the bullpen. So too has Abby Carr, the freshman. And it'll be Carr who comes on for Missouri with a potential go-ahead run in scoring position and 2 outs in the 5th inning. Back to Fayetteville in a moment. Monica, she's had an excellent freshman year at the plate and in the circle, but this is a big spot for a freshman.
Yeah, Abby Carr, she's been a reliever for Missouri all season long, coming out in a lot of clutch situations. She's had her highs and lows as a reliever, a 2.39 ERA, but Missouri's looking for her to shut it down and keep Missouri in this game.
Sierra Harrison pitched well today, but a 2-out base hit from Reagan Johnson, bringing home Carly Davison, who just beat the throw from Sanaya Hill in left. Now it's Brindley Bain, the freshman. And the home plate umpire has a pitch clock violation, it looks like. It's a tough way to start an appearance out of the bullpen.
Yeah, definitely a tough way to start with the first pitch here, but you got to have short-term memory loss as a pitcher here in this situation and bear back down. You have 2 outs in this inning. Abby Carr throws quite a few different pitches. She throws a rise ball, a curve ball, but it's that changeup that she's going to throw almost twice to every batter. It's super slow. It's very effective, and she places it very well. It's an excellent, excellent pitch.
And you can see there how it messed with Bain's timing. She was way late.
Yes, absolutely, because she can bring her hard stuff up to 67 miles per hour. She's usually in that 65 range, but then her changeup can be as slow as 57. There it is again. She just slows it down just enough to keep people on their front foot.
Potential go-ahead run. Johnson in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bain. Courtney Deifel said you'd have to say Brindley Bain is one of those who's exceeded expectations this year. They knew she was good, but she's caught a lot of other people's attention.
Yeah, and it's actually two freshman of the year candidates going against each other right now.
Pitch gets away. It allows Johnson to move up to third. Courtney Deifel talked about anticipating Brindley Bain getting to Fayetteville as a hard worker, a great competitor, but she's been that times 100, Deifel said. All that competition on the line here. 2-2. McDowell on deck. Count is full.
So just a big moment here for both of these freshmen.
Bain just able to hang in there long enough.
Yeah, just gets on her front foot, just able to just barely get the ball foul.
Carr against Bain, freshman against freshman. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bain to first, bad hop, it gets away from Hay, and Arkansas takes the lead. A Bogle Park hop on a day that the Razorbacks have needed it.
Yeah, and Arkansas goes up on this Brindley Bain ground ball to first base, and it just takes a crazy hop on Abby Hay. Not much she can do here. She tries to stop it with her bare hand, but just a little unfortunate circumstance here with the hop.
We've talked about the crowds they get here and what a great boost they give the Razorbacks. Well, apparently even Bogle Park itself knows when the home team could use a little lift.
Yeah, Bogle Park Dirt knew, hey, we need a little bit of a crazy hop here.
In the dirt, 2-0. And now we'll get to see how Arkansas handles the final couple of innings in the circle. Is it Robin Herron all the way, even though that would almost certainly mean eclipsing 100 pitches?
I think it'll be hard not to see Robin Herron go back out there in such a close game. You know, she's been the ace all year long.
Arkansas is going to make a change with a pinch runner, Casey Wood, the junior from Bentonville, just up the road. In there for Bain at first. With a 2-ball, 1-strike count on McDowell, who has struck out and popped up to second. Arkansas, by the way, was just 1-5 this year when trailing after 4 innings, but 23-0 when leading after 5. So the odds have very much shifted in the Razorbacks' favor in these last 10 minutes. Carr's 2-2 pitch. Second straight full count. McDowell looks at a walk. 2 on for the Razorbacks, and Tiana Bell, the cleanup hitter.
So Arkansas's offense seems to have found a little bit of life as they're working the counts just a little bit deeper against Abby Carr, forcing more pitches off of her and putting pressure on her.
Abrascato out for a chat.
You know, I think this is a good chat from Stefania Abrascato, the catcher, trying to lead this freshman pitcher and using her pitches to just feed her defense. Abby Carr doesn't strike out a ton of people. She does get some strikeouts looking because of her just excellent changeup, but feeding her defense and getting that last out to get out of this inning.
And Missouri will have 3, 4, and 5 scheduled to bat in the 6th inning. So certainly hope not lost for the Tigers if they can keep the deficit at 1. In fact, Abby Carr would lead off.
They've got to get there first and figure out the mental part of this battle. And, you know, there's a reason they're at 500 right now, and being able to fight their way back deep and late in the game. I said it at the beginning of this game, 1 run was not going to be enough to win this game. But can Missouri hold Arkansas to 2 to give themselves a chance in the last 2 innings of the game? Or will Arkansas run away with it offensively as they seem to have found a little bit of life?
Carr has faced 3 batters. All 3 counts have gone full. A base hit for Bain on the bad hop that brought in the go-ahead run for the Hogs. A walk to McDowell. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes on Tiana Bell. Heading toward a 3rd straight all-conference selection in a 3rd different league. After she was all Pac-12 at Cal, all ACC at Cal. She puts an all SEC swing on it into the gap. This will clear the bases. Arkansas has blown it open. A 4-run fifth inning, capped off by a 2-run double by Tiana Bell.
You could feel the Arkansas offense start to come alive, but Abby Carr goes back to that outside corner, and Tiana Bell doesn't miss. There's a reason why she has 50 RBIs on the season so far. Make that 52 RBIs on the season. Arkansas up 3-1.
She knocked in 5 runs last weekend against Oklahoma. Those are the first 2 RBIs of the series for this week. 4 straight Razorbacks have reached with 2 outs, and Bell gets a well-deserved ovation as she makes way for the pinch runner Jaden Wells.
Yeah, Tiana Bell has definitely been a bright spot in the Arkansas lineup, but hard to say that when there's so many bright spots in their lineup. She just has been absolutely phenomenal, especially in the last several weeks, really coming into her own and stepping up for her team. It almost seems like she's an athlete that thrives in the big moment. She thrives when the lights are the brightest.
And frankly, that's what Arkansas needs, because this is a program that has been under the bright lights, and when they're brightest in the postseason these last several years, Courtney Deifel has taken them to a place they've never been, but they haven't been able to get over that hump. In fact, each of the last 5 years since COVID, they've been eliminated from the postseason here in this ballpark 3 times in super regionals, including last season. Just looking for that last little push to get them to the World Series.
Yeah, that is such a true factor. You know, Arkansas consistently ranked in the top 15, the top 8, but for the last several years, they haven't been able to make it to the World Series, to Oklahoma City. It's probably the chip on the shoulder that these seniors have that they need to use as they go into April and May. I think their offense has the ability to do it. They have 2 excellent pitchers in Burnham and in Herron. The question is will they be able to put it all together come May?
3 balls, no strikes on Riho, who has grounded out and flied out. Should correct myself, by the way. It's 4 of the last 5 seasons they've been eliminated here in this ballpark. 2 years ago, they were bounced in supers in Stillwater by Oklahoma State. But the point still stands that getting the home field advantage they've had in regionals the last 5 years and will have again this year, the advantage they've generally had at home in super regionals and likely will have again this year, has not automatically been enough, even with the Bogle Park crowd. In this case, the Bogle Park infield doing its part to try to help out the Hogs.
Yeah, the fan base here, this would be a stadium that you would want to play super regionals at, and how important hosting would be. And another walk to Atalia Rijo.
Let me ask you this for Abby Carr, because that's another full count that doesn't go her way. She's faced 4 batters. She's been competitive against all of them, 4 full counts. They've all reached base. What would you want to see from her going into her sophomore year, the remaining 3 years of her career, to be able to close out those tight at-bats a little better?
Yeah, she needs to be better in pressure situations. And as good as her changeup is, I think sometimes we're throwing it a little too much and pressure counts. So when you're throwing a changeup 3-2 like they just did to Rijo, it makes it have to be a perfect pitch at 3 balls and 2 strikes for it to be called strike 3. So I think taking off a little bit of pressure from the changeup by developing the curveball and the rise ball and the drop ball more. And then where she gets into trouble is she lets some of those pitches leak over the middle of the plate, especially the rise ball. She has to be able to command that zone better and get ahead of hitters. There's no question that she has some very unique and very great tools as an athlete. The question that will be on Missouri's mind in the offseason is how do we continue to develop Abby into more of a dominant pitcher? Does that mean she starts to become more of a starter than a closer? How does she start a game and continue to see a lineup multiple times through, making adjustments and using her pitches in different ways? We know she can compete. We've seen the ability. That's why she's in the top 10 as a freshman, as a two-way player for Freshman of the Year candidates, along with Brinley Bain from Arkansas. But it's the development piece that we really need to see from Abby Carr in the circle.
Wyckoff pops it up. Tricky play. Abrascato gets there. Nicely done by Missouri's catcher, but Arkansas puts up 4 runs, all with 2 outs, capped off by Tiana Bell. Laces it into right center. A 2-out, 2-run double, and it's 4-1 Razorbacks. Arkansas spreads out its senior nights, or senior days as it were, so over the course of a season they honor different seniors, sometimes in pairs, sometimes on their own. Today is Reese Burline's senior day. They honored her alone before the game, and she gets a chance to come out of the Arkansas bullpen. Just her 7th appearance this season, now protecting a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, how exciting for her to come in and be able to throw on her senior day. Just 15 2/3 innings on the year, but just a valuable part of this Arkansas team. Relieving Robin Heron, giving her some extra innings off. Robin, just excellent job today. 2 walks on the day, 1 run, 5 strikeouts.
3, 4, and 5 scheduled for Missouri. Abby Carr to be followed by Abby Hay. And then Sydney Forrester likely to re-enter in the number 5 spot. Carr trying to ignite something for Mizzou after Arkansas pushed across 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th to take the lead.
Yeah, this is going to show how much fight does Missouri have. Do they have it in them to continue to fight for the last 2 innings? To battle back 1 pitch at a time. Get some base runners.
Two of those Arkansas runs were charged to Carr, 2 of them to the starter, Sierra Harrison. Carr had the RBI single back in the first inning for Missouri's only run in this series. The only run the Tigers have scored in their last 3 SEC games, counting this one. Flied out to center her last time. Carr blasts off to left center field. Long run. Johnson. It is off the top of the wall and gone. Abby Carr with a solo homer, and Missouri cuts the deficit down to 2.
So productive at bat by Abby Carr and a good response after giving up some runs in the bottom of the 5th. Cutting the deficit in half. This is huge. This pitch from Reese Burley, a backdoor curve, just kind of floats towards the middle of the plate here. Abby Carr able to get all of that.
Team leading 12th home run for Carr. And remember, she made the final out of the 3rd, and Abby Hay, who bats now, the first out of the 4th. Both flyouts to center, and both at the time you thought really jumped off the bat and then just died out there. Hay slices one into right, taken by Walker for the first out. The other piece, of course, here, as great as it is to see Burline get the chance on her senior day, she has not pitched a lot against SEC teams this year, and she has not had a lot of success. You wonder how long the leash will be in a 2-run game.
Yeah, absolutely. But they have some flexibility because they were able to put a 4 spot up. Now with just 2 runs, I think they'll give a little bit of flexibility. This might be the 1 inning Reese Burling gets to throw. But what I like about what she's doing, even though she gave up the home run and she hasn't thrown a lot in the SEC, she is attacking the hitter. She is getting ahead early in the count.
Quick visit with the umpire. Just clarifying perhaps Sydney Forrester's re-entry here in the number 5 spot in the Missouri lineup. To third, bit of an awkward play for McDowell, but she makes it well. You mentioned earlier in the game how important it is for infielders, especially on the left side, to know who's running. McDowell knew she had time to back up on that ball.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to know your speed of the person in the box or the runner at first base if there's a runner on base. You got to know their speed and what they might potentially do. If you have time to shuffle a little bit and back up on a hop versus charging a hop or getting rid of the ball quickly, you could do that if you have that pre-pitch thought. And that's where the elite defenders really separate themselves. They're going to think through all those different scenarios of what their options are defensively if the ball is hit to them.
2 balls, no strikes on Madison Updegrove, who has popped up to second and struck out. To the point about the leash on Berline, Sailor Timmerman was up in the Arkansas bullpen earlier. Peyton Burnham's been up recently. Updegrove right back to McDowell at third. This time she charges. She can do either one. No problem for the Arkansas third baseman. An Abby Carr solo homer, but 3 senior day outs from Reese Berline.
Hey, but it was Brinley Bain and Tiana Bell. They're 2 big hitters in the Arkansas lineup that really stepped up the last inning, especially Tiana Bell picking up 2 RBIs on the double to the wall. You know, we've talked about it all game, but Arkansas's offense is just deep. They're good all 1 through 9. You're looking at Carly Davison right now. She bats 7th, and she's hitting .370. So there is really no break in this Arkansas lineup. Missouri was able to hold them for almost 5 innings before Arkansas figured it out and broke through for a 4 spot.
And Davison was the one who started all of it. She led off with a base hit in that 5th inning, now leading off again in the 6th after 9 Razorbacks came to the plate. Fair ball down the left field line. Davison's 2nd hit in as many innings. This time it's a leadoff double.
So Carly Davison getting this, pulls this low ball down the left field line.
Larissa Anderson is 2 for 2 on challenges. She's going to try a 3rd one here, saying this was a foul ball.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure this was a fair ball. It was an excellently hit ball down the line.
The ball was not fair. The following plays on the review.
Either way, it was an excellent piece of hitting by Carly Davison here, but this ball just seems to bounce.
Both coaches have won challenges in this game. Arkansas 1 for 2, Missouri 2 for 2. Here the question would be whether it is over top of the base when it hops up and over. Because the first contact was in fair territory in front of the bag, first contact past the bag can be foul, but it has to be over top of the bag in the air, and that is really close.
That looks like the strike zone as a pitcher's strike versus a hitter's strike. I mean, that is like edge of the corner of the base is what it looks like, but it's really hard to tell for me. I feel like it looks foul. Ooh, I don't know.
And I will say, we're right at 1 o'clock local time, so the sun is pretty close to straight over top of us. So if you use the shadow, it does go just foul. If it were dead noon, I think you could use that and call it a day.
Do they use shadows in umpiring?
We
in
might
video review.
We're recommending something new here. We're making recommendations to the SEC umpiring crew.
Hey, SEC umpiring crew, if you're unsure, check out the shadow of the ball. That would be a whole new plot twist in scorekeeping there.
So we'll see if that look is convincing enough. As it stands, it's a leadoff double for Davison, her 7th of the year.
Yeah, this is another good review challenge. You talked about it earlier, but reviewing under leverage situations, a leadoff double could be really damaging offensively. So Larissa Anderson doing a challenge here late in the game on this is a really good decision, because if it gets overturned, it is very helpful defensively.
After review, the corner field has changed to a foul ball. The count is 2 balls, 2 strikes. Missouri retains their challenge. They still have 2 challenges.
So Larissa Anderson now 3 for 3 challenging in this game. 2 plays at first base and a fair foul call down the third base line. For what it's worth as well, that was the home plate umpire's call on a ball that is that bounces in front of third base. And it's not an easy one, because he's got to not only get lined up with the third base line, but also get his mask off. And doing both of those things, sometimes it's easy to miss one that's so close like that. And I don't know it's even fair to characterize that as a miss. That's right there, and he just didn't get it right.
Well, in the speed of the game, right, like that ball is hit so hard, and, you know, umpires want to make the correct call too.
Davison will do it twice. She's fired up, and why not? Is Davison 2 for 1 in that at bat? In her mind, she is.
And she swings that first pitch after that long break and shoots it right back up the middle, doing a good job in staying focused and managing the delay and the emotions. Just shows a lot of character, a lot of maturity from Carly Davidson.
Arkansas started 1 for 13. And there's a base hit into center. Since the 1 for 13 start, the Razorbacks are 6 out of their last 8. Base hits for Davison and Miller. 2 on, nobody out. The number 9 spot in the lineup. And Arkansas is going to go to a pinch hitter in Ashton Reichard, who I don't think will get the chance to face Abby Carr. Larissa Anderson is out of the Missouri dugout again. Courtney Donahue looks ready in the Tigers bullpen. And she is making her way down toward the Bogle Park dirt. We'll step aside. 2 hogs aboard, nobody out. A 4-2 Arkansas lead. Put up 4 runs, all with 2 outs in that 5th inning. The first 2 are on base in the 6th. That chases Abby Carr and brings on the 3rd Missouri hurler today, Courtney Donahue.
Yeah, Courtney Donahue, she comes in relief a lot in these leverage situations where Missouri just needs to get out of innings. She has 31 innings pitched, 2.71 ERA. She does have a few strikeouts, but most of the time she's going to try to feed her defense in with ground balls and fly balls.
Ashton Reichard is the pinch hitter for Arkansas.
You know, it made you wonder through the first half of the game, through the first 4 innings, was Arkansas's lineup just a little too quiet? It was a little uncharacteristic, a little bit rare. They have been so solid, so many hitters hitting 300 or above, 1 through 9. And then they just broke out in the 5th. And since then have been in control offensively.
Reichard pinch hitting for Walker. Redshirt freshman out of Katy, Texas, got her first start of the year in the series opener. 1 for 2 with a walk last night. Hadn't had an at-bat since the game on the road against Central Arkansas back on the 24th of March, a month prior. Spent last year as Arkansas's first base coach after a preseason injury that caused her to take a redshirt year. Full count here, which was a recipe for success for Arkansas. In the 5th inning, 4 straight Razorbacks had full counts against Abby Carr. They all reached base. See if the same is true with Courtney Donahue now in the game.
Yeah, it just shows a little bit of maturity, and I also think a little bit of calmness from the Arkansas lineup. Not panicking that they hadn't put up any runs. They start to make some adjustments, see more pitches, be okay having a strike under their belt before they try to get their swing off.
Ball 4, bases full of Razorbacks. At the top of the order, Reagan Johnson, who Missouri has not been able to retire the entire game, coming up now.
Yeah, Reagan Johnson has just been phenomenal all game long, leading the charge for Arkansas. A walk, a slap to the pitcher, and then a hard slap or hit to seventh, or hit to left field.
Arkansas is going to make a switch on the bases. Miller is lifted for a pinch runner. Ava Carter out at second. Missouri, by the way, also made a change in right field. Hayden Sokolowski has taken over out there, so Sydney Forrester removed for a defensive change for the second time, so she is finished today. Infield in against Johnson. Of all the players, he's a difficult one against whom to bring the infield in, as Missouri learned when Johnson knocked in Arkansas's first run with 2 outs in that 5th inning on a line drive past a drawn-in Addie Waits at third.
Yeah, when you have the speed of a Reagan Johnson, someone that can get down the line in under 3 seconds and that has the ability to drop bunts and slaps, you also have to think about it strategic defensively. You can't just come in and charge just because you know she's fast. You have to understand, like, hey, what is she probably going to do? Is she going to soft slap? Is she going to hard slap? Is she going to try to run through and swing? What kind of hit is she more than likely going to do? And I think that hurt them when Reagan Johnson brought around the go-ahead run in the 5th.
A 4-pitch walk to Johnson to bring in the 5th Arkansas run. Davison scores. Johnson on base for the 4th time in as many trips today.
Yeah, Reagan Johnson just playing phenomenal today. She's doing it all.
Her second RBI, this one the easy way.
As Missouri relievers have come into this game, they have just struggled controlling the zone. So many full counts. They've gotten behind.
Brindley Bain now. She flied to right her first time, has since walked and driven in a run with a base hit. Through the left side, there's another knock to bring in another run. Station to station for the Razorbacks. It's 6-2 Hogs, and the potential walk-off run will come to the plate in the form of McDowell with nobody out of the inning.
So good piece of hitting here by Brindley Bain. She actually goes down and gets that and just drives it through the left side. I like it. Simple, short to the ball. Not the perfect pitch either. I like that too. You know, I think that's underestimated in our game right now. You don't have to have the perfect pitch to get a good hit. You can go down and get something. As long as you put a good swing on it and stay in your legs and get to barrel, you're going to get a good hit. It doesn't have to be teed up for you on the white of the plate.
No balls, 1 strike on Ella McDowell. She is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. But she has 11 home runs this year and represents the walk-off run rule in the right-hand batter's box. Arkansas has 7 grand slams this year. McDowell has 2 of them.
Wow.
Smoked into center, a base hit. 1 run scores. Langer's throw is offline. Johnson comes in with a 2nd run. First hit today for Ella McDowell brings in 2. And Arkansas, trailing into the 5th inning, inches that much closer to a run rule win.
So Ella McDowell, not with the grand slam, but shoots it right back up the middle, gets to barrel. Simple kind of hitting here. Kaylee Langer making the throw home, but Ella McDowell able to pick up 2 ribbies. Sending Reagan Johnson all the way from second base. No hesitation. The route efficiency on her base running is very impressive.
Arkansas on the verge of a 10th straight series win at Bogle Park in the regular season. A 1-0 Missouri lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th has turned into an 8-2 Arkansas advantage with the potential walk-off run aboard at first base and nobody out still in this 6th inning. And the Tigers will make another pitching change. Riley Mahalik will be the new pitcher for the Tigers.
Trying to just limit this damage and get them out of this bottom of the 6th inning.
2 on, nobody out, and an 8-2 lead for Arkansas. With that, we say hello again inside the booth. She's Monica Abbott. I'm Nate Gatter. So glad to have you with us all afternoon long. And it feels, Monica, in many ways like what we've seen today is representative of who these teams are. Missouri has enough to be competitive with just about anybody in the SEC, anybody in the country, but do they have enough to win games and win series? Meanwhile, Arkansas, maybe they can be held back for a certain amount of time. Tough to hold them back for 7 innings.
Yeah, and at this point of the season, you're coming into late April looking, postseason's just a couple weekends away. So you're starting to, who you are is who you are as a team. And Arkansas's offense, we know that they are so good. So when they were quiet early in the game, we knew at some point they were going to break through, and they most certainly have.
And Courtney Neifel has talked about that. She talked about it with us this week, how important it is for them to deal with their failure productively, deal with their frustration productively. And that's a point of emphasis going into postseason. When the lights are bright and the frustrations are the hardest to deal with, they have to be able to process and move on.
Yeah, and because when the lights are brighter, you want it more. All of a sudden the pressure's on and your heart starts beating a little bit faster.
Up to Grove, takes the out at first on Tiana Bell. But now 2 in scoring position for Arkansas, and a base hit could end the ball game. Mahalik, the sophomore, taking over in the circle for Mizzou. Harrison started, Abby Carr and Courtney Donahue have followed, and now it's Mahalik.
Yeah, you can see Mahalik. She doesn't have a lot of innings on the year. She comes in as a cleanup type of pitcher.
To the right side, Smith takes the out. Brings in a run, RBI for Rijo. Bain scores, and it's 9-2 Arkansas. That walk-off run now 60 feet away, but Missouri does have 2 quick outs in the inning, and Wyckoff will bat.
Yeah, you know what about Arkansas's offense that I really like is that they're still so productive, right? They're not giving up at bats. They're playing some team offense, which has been really good. I think that's a little bit underestimated. They're giving themselves up, still being able to score some runs, understanding that, hey, even if with Rijo there, like hitting a ground ball to second base is productive. If she had hit that to third base and pulled the ball, that wouldn't have scored that run.
Wyckoff, right field, but right at Sokolowski. Missouri survives to a 7th inning by the skin of their teeth. All Arkansas here lately. Dakota Kennedy between innings out there with the Arkansas substitutes and playing some fun, friendly catch with Brindley Bain down the left field line. She was working on her pitching mechanics. She was catching for Brindley a little bit. certainly positive signs for the health of Dakota Kennedy and the impact she figures to be able to make down the stretch for Arkansas and into the postseason.
Yeah, she's someone that they're going to be very excited to have back in the lineup, but it's also somewhere at this point as a coach, you got to think strategically for your offense and the best thing for your players. Putting Dakota Kennedy in this series versus Missouri probably wouldn't help her, and you don't want to hold her back by potentially getting a little bit more sore or having more issues. So why not give her another week, maybe another couple games to be able to take that time off and just get some good practice in and recover a little bit better. It also gives the opportunity for her to work her bench into some more at-bats, which they might end up needing in postseason play.
Missouri earned this top of the 7th inning just barely. Arkansas left the walk-off run just 60 feet away at third. And here's Sophie Smith looking for what would be a galvanizing base hit for her. She has not had one in the month of April. Don't forget, we'll be sending you to Oxford, Mississippi after this. Georgia having such a good baseball season, number 5 in the country. Playing the first of a doubleheader to open that series at Ole Miss today. Georgia has jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Smith down the left field line, but playable over there and put away by Walker.
Yeah, I like that Arkansas has kept Reese Burling and the senior, not a lot of innings on the year, but she's been very productive coming off the bench. Now, she's not doing anything too special, but she is doing special enough because she's getting ahead of hitters and working the count. She's just attacking them in the zone. And the good thing is that her locations are good enough just for her to be able to get some jammed fly balls, some weak ground balls.
Hill tops it to third. McDowell, 2 gone. Arkansas set to improve to 28-1 against unranked opponents this year. And the only loss to an unranked team was 4-2 against Virginia back in the 3rd game of the season, first weekend in February. And Virginia's a pretty good team. They've been still inside the top 30 in the RPI for most of the year. And that is essentially the worst loss of the year for the Razorbacks. Meanwhile, as we've talked about, Missouri has piled those up, especially early in the season. And although they've righted the ship in the second half of the year, they're about to drop below 500. And the pressure is going to be very much on the Tigers for their final 5 regular season games and into the SEC tournament in Lexington, with Mizzou now down to its final strike.
Yes, and then, I think it's a good point to bring up for both of these teams because it affects them the same. Winning is a habit, and you get into that confidence and that mindset of a winner's mindset, and that's what Arkansas is in right now. They don't freak out. Under pressure, they stayed calm when their offense wasn't producing, and they continued to just grind it out till they got the job done. But don't forget that losing is a habit as well. You start to give up earlier. You lose your mindset.
Fitting that Reagan Johnson squeezes the final out. She reached base in all 4 trips to the plate. She tied the game for Arkansas in the 5th, and from 1-0 down into the 5th inning, the Razorbacks storm back to win it 9-2. Just the 2nd time this year they've won when trailing after 4. For Monica Abbott, Nate Gatter saying so long from Fayetteville. Now let's send you to baseball in Oxford, Mississippi.